Welcome to BBC Rare Coins. Today, we're diving into the legendary world of the USA quarter dollar, one of the most collected and talked about coins in American history. From Washington's iconic portrait to hidden mint marks and rare state designs worth thousands, this little 25-cent piece holds secrets that even seasoned collectors miss. Hit that subscribe button and let's unlock the hidden value of the USA quarter dollar together. Top 1. The year was 1965. America was changing fast, and so was its money after decades of using 90% silver in quarters, dimes, and half dollars. The US Mint made a historic decision to switch to a cheaper metal blend. Silver was becoming too valuable, and the government needed a solution. So starting in 1965, quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, they were struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet, a layered metal that looked similar but was far less expensive. But in the rush of change, mistakes were made. Hidden among billions of ordinary quarters, a few special coins slipped through. They were struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. And today, those few rare 1965 quarters are worth a fortune. One recently sold for an astonishing $63,000. Imagine that. A coin designed to be worth just 25 cents now commanding enough to buy a brand new luxury car, or even a down payment on a house. But what makes these rare 1965 quarters different? First, it's the metal itself. While regular 1965 quarters show a thin brownish copper line when you look at the edge, a 1965 silver quarter gleams with a solid silver color from edge to edge. No copper strip, no mixed metal tones. Just pure silver brilliance. Second, the sound is different. When dropped, a regular clad quarter gives off a dull, low clink. But a silver quarter rings with a high-pitched, bell-like tone that you can hear clearly. Third, the weight. A normal clad 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter is slightly heavier, around 6.25 grams. It's a small difference, but for a trained eye or a precise scale, it's enough to reveal a hidden treasure. Most people, even experienced collectors, never think to check. They spend their quarters on coffee, gas, groceries, never realizing what they just gave away. Meanwhile, sharp-eyed treasure hunters are quietly cashing in. The story of the $63,000 quarter captured national attention. It was found by someone who simply paid attention to the details. No fancy equipment, no professional tools. Just knowledge and patience. When they spotted the solid silver edge and heard that bright ring, they knew they had something special. They sent the coin to a grading service, where experts confirmed the impossible. A genuine 1965 silver quarter, one of the rarest mint errors in American coinage. The auction was fierce. Bidders from around the world competed for the chance to own a piece of history. In the end, it hammered down for $63,000, a record price that stunned even veteran collectors. And the best part, there could still be more out there. Billions of 1965 quarters were minted. Millions still circulate today. Most have been handled, worn down, spent countless times over 50 years, but a few rare survivors might still be hiding in your change jar, your old dresser drawer, or tucked away in forgotten rolls of coins. Every day, collectors hunt for them. Every day, new discoveries are made. The 1965 quarter reminds us of an important truth, that treasures don't always come wrapped in gold or diamonds. Sometimes, they come disguised as the most ordinary things, a simple coin, worn and overlooked, yet carrying the weight of history and the power to change a life. Keep your eyes open. Listen for the ring, check the edge. Weigh your coins if you can, because the next great discovery might not be in a museum, it might be in your pocket. Right now, would you also want an even longer, slightly more story-driven version too, almost like a mini documentary? I can write that for you if you want. Top 2. In 1992, America was riding a wave of optimism. The Cold War had ended, the economy was booming, and people were looking ahead to the future. But hidden in plain sight, a tiny mistake at the US Mint created one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered, a mistake that today can be worth up to $75,000. The 1992 Washington quarter was supposed to be an ordinary coin, just another piece of everyday pocket change. But in a few rare cases, something extraordinary happened. A small number of 1,992 quarters were struck. Using proof dice, special dice normally reserved for collectors' coins, but they were accidentally used to mint regular circulation coins. The result, a handful of 1992 quarters have an incredibly sharp, detailed design with deep mirror-like fields and frosted devices, an accidental proof-like finish on a business strike coin. These rare errors are known among collectors as the 1992 proof error quarters, and they have become one of the most sought-after modern rarities in America numismatics. But that's not the only reason the 1992 quarter is famous. There's another rare version, the 1992 close AM variety. Normally, on the back of a regular quarter, the letters A and M in America are spaced apart, but in a few 1992 quarters, the A and M are so close they are nearly touching, a design intended only for proof coins, mistakenly used on some business strikes. Finding one of these 1992 close AM quarters in high grade can change your life. One pristine example sold at auction for an astonishing $75,000. Imagine that. A quarter you could have spent on a soda, now worth more than most people's yearly salary. Collectors and dealers search obsessively for these errors. They hunt through rolls, bags, and old collections, hoping to catch just a glimpse of the close AM variety or that brilliant accidental proof-like shine. Most quarters turn out to be ordinary, worn, and spent, but every now and then, someone flips over a coin and sees the impossible, a piece of modern treasure hiding in plain sight. So how can you spot a fortune in your pocket? First, check the back of any 1992 quarter you find. Look closely at the word America. If the A and M are almost touching, you might have found the rare close AM variety. Next, examine the surface. A true accidental proof quarter will shine with a deep mirror reflection, far sharper than the typical dull business strike. Condition matters too. The finest examples, graded in mint state 67 or higher, can command the biggest payouts, even up to $75,000. And here's something most people don't realize: because the 1992 close AM was a minting mistake, no official record exists for how many were made. It could be a few dozen. It could be a few hundred. Nobody knows for sure. That's what makes them so exciting to hunt. The thrill of the unknown, the chance that the next rare find could be sitting right there in your loose change. Collectors dream of moments like this, moments when ordinary becomes extraordinary, when something so small, so simple, a quarter tossed aside or forgotten, turns out to be a life-changing discovery. Every day, people unknowingly spend rare coins. Every day, someone overlooks a fortune, but not you. Now you know the signs, now you know what to look for. Check your change, search your old jars. Dig into those forgotten rolls tucked away in drawers and safes, because somewhere out there, a 1992 close AM quarter is waiting to be found, and maybe, just maybe, the next $75,000 treasure is already in your hands. Would you also like me to create a second, even longer version with a little real-life story woven in to make it even more emotional and viral? It would feel like telling viewers, a man once found this in his grandma's drawer, to hook them even deeper. Want me to write that too? Top 3. In 1990, no one suspected that a simple, everyday quarter would become one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins in American history. Minted by the millions, most 1990 quarters were tossed into pockets, spent on candy, gas, or groceries, and forgotten forever. But deep inside the chaos of mass production, something unusual happened. A small number of 1990 quarters were struck with minting errors so rare, so unexpected, that collectors today are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars just to own 1.1 of these quarters. Recently sold for an unbelievable $66,000. At first glance, the 1990 quarter looks just like any other. It features George Washington on the front, the eagle with outstretched wings on the back, the classic design everyone recognizes, but hidden in the tiniest details lies the key to its extraordinary value. The most valuable 1990 quarter ever sold was a proof coin that escaped the US Mint without its mint mark, a coin that was never supposed to exist. Here's the backstory. Proof coins are specially made for collectors. They are struck with incredible detail, polished dies, and a mirror-like finish. They're not meant to be spent, they're meant to be cherished, and every proof coin is stamped with an identifying mint mark. In 1990, that mark was an S for San Francisco, but a few rare 1990 proof quarters were accidentally struck without the S mint mark. That simple missing letter, barely the size of a grain of rice, transformed an ordinary-looking coin into a national treasure. Only a handful of these No.S 1990 proof quarters are known to exist, and when one surfaced in pristine condition, collectors went wild. At auction, it shattered expectations and sold for $66,000. A single missing letter made a quarter 264,000 times more valuable than its face value, and the mystery doesn't end there. Other 1990 quarters have been discovered with extreme double strikes, off-center errors, and even dramatic die cracks, minting mistakes that turn regular coins into one-of-a-kind rarities. Even small flaws, when confirmed by grading experts and preserved in high condition, can be worth thousands. So what should you look for? First, inspect any 1990 quarter with a mirror-like surface, especially if it looks like a proof. Flip it over. Check for the mint mark just above the R in quarter. If there's no S mint mark on a proof coin, stop everything. You may have found one of the rarest quarters of all time. Condition is key. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Coins that have been well preserved, never circulated, and kept in original packaging or holders are far more likely to fetch top dollar. But even in circulated condition, some error coins can still be worth thousands. And the most exciting part, these coins weren't handed out at coin shows or hidden away in museums. They were released into the world. They're out there, in old collections, inherited boxes, forgotten drawers, or even inside that jar of change on your kitchen counter. The story of the 1990 quarter is a reminder that the most valuable treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Point 1: small oversight at the mint. One tiny missing detail, and suddenly, a 25-cent coin becomes a piece of American history worth $66,000. So check your coins, look twice, because the next legendary find might not come from a bank vault or a collector's showcase. It might already be in your hands. Would you like a version that focuses on a real or fictional story for an even more emotional and dramatic opening that can boost virality even more? Top 4. In 2001, the United States Mint was in the middle of one of the most exciting projects in modern coin history, the 50-state quarters program. Each year, 5 new quarter designs were released, celebrating the unique heritage of every state. It was a time when millions of Americans, young and old, started checking their change, looking for the latest designs, saving coins from every state. But among these billions of shiny new quarters, a few rare mistakes slipped through the cracks, mistakes so rare that today, one special 2001 quarter has sold for an unbelievable $34,000. At first glance, a 2001 quarter looks perfectly normal. Whether it's New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, or Kentucky, each coin proudly shows its state's design, surrounded by the familiar words, United States of America, and quarter dollar. But not all of these coins are created equal. Point 1: particular 2001 quarter, a Kentucky state quarter, stunned collectors when it was discovered with a dramatic mint error known as a double strike off-center instead of a clean, single strike. This rare coin was struck twice, and both strikes were way off the mark. The result was a bizarre, stunning error, making the horse and mansion design appear distorted and doubled. Unlike anything you normally see. Because of the mistake, the coin became one of the most talked about errors from the entire state quarters series. Collectors battled for the chance to own it, and when it finally came up for auction, it sold for a staggering $34,000. A simple quarter. A coin millions of people handled without a second thought, yet this one mistake turned a 25-cent piece into a 5-figure treasure. But that's not the only reason collectors obsess over 2001 quarters. Some 2001 quarters, especially from Philadelphia and Denver mints, have been found with dramatic die cracks, cuts, missing layers, and even broad strikes, making them worth hundreds or thousands depending on the severity and condition. And for quarters struck on the wrong planchet, say, on a nickel or dime blank, the value can skyrocket even higher. These mint errors weren't intentional, they were accidents in the rush to keep up with massive public demand for new quarters. And because no one was supposed to notice, they quietly slipped into circulation. That's where the opportunity is. Every day, people spend these rare coins without knowing it. They drop them into vending machines, use them for tolls, or leave them forgotten at the bottom of drawers. Meanwhile, sharp-eyed collectors are patiently sifting through rolls of coins, hoping to spot that slight distortion, that missing detail, that off-center strike that signals something extraordinary. So how can you find one? First, always examine 2001 quarters carefully. Look for coins that appear strangely shaped, doubled, or uneven. Inspect both sides closely under good light. A coin that looks wrong at first glance might just be an incredible mint error. Errors with full, clear double strikes, especially off-center by 15% or more, are extremely valuable. Add strong eye appeal, minimal wear, and you could be looking at a coin worth thousands. The story of the 2001 quarter teaches a powerful lesson. Sometimes, the most valuable things aren't locked away in vaults or sold in fancy auction houses. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight, disguised as ordinary. A single quarter, missed by millions of hands, now a prized treasure worth $34,000. So next time you get change at the store, take a moment, flip over that quarter, look at the details, because your next incredible find, your own piece of American history, could be right there, waiting to be discovered. If you want, I can also create a second, more emotional, story-driven version that starts with a real-life or fictional person finding the 2001 error, which tends to go even more viral. Would you like that too? Top 5. In 2003, the 50-state quarters program was in full swing, capturing the imagination of millions across America. Every few months, a brand new design appeared in everyone's pocket change, proud symbols of each state's heritage, from Maine's rugged coastline to Missouri's iconic Gateway Arch. But hidden among these beautiful, everyday coins, a few rare mint errors slip into circulation. Errors so rare, so spectacular, that one 2003 quarter recently sold for an astonishing $48,000. It's the kind of story that seems almost too good to be true. A simple quarter, struck for ordinary use, becomes a treasure worth more than a luxury car. Among all the 2003 state quarters, the Missouri and Maine designs became legends not because of their beauty, though they are beautiful, but because of a rare mistake at the mint. Coins that were struck on the wrong metal planchet. A tiny handful of 2003 quarters were accidentally minted on planchets meant for nickels or foreign coins instead of the usual weight and silvery copper-nickel appearance. These errors were lighter, smaller, and displayed weak, washed-out designs. To the untrained eye, they look strange, but easily overlooked. Collectors, however, knew the truth. One 2003 Missouri quarter, struck on the wrong planchet, stunned the numismatic world when it sold for $48,000 at auction. It's an unbelievable jump in value, from 25 cents to $48,000, simply because of a once-in-a-lifetime minting error. But that's not the only kind of valuable mistake you can find from 2003. Collectors have uncovered 2003 quarters with massive off-center strikes, dramatic double strikes, clip planchets, and even die caps. Rare errors where the coin sticks to the die and creates a ghost-like, distorted impression. These coins are incredibly rare because they shouldn't exist. The mint's quality control systems are designed to catch mistakes before they reach the public. But when production is at full speed, and billions of coins are being made, some errors slip through, and those rare survivors are worth fortunes today. So how can you spot a valuable 2003 quarter? First, check the weight. A normal 2003 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your quarter feels lighter, heavier, or just off, it's worth checking with a precise scale. Next, inspect the design carefully. Look for weak strikes, missing details, or a strange color that doesn't match typical copper-nickel. Off-center strikes are easy to spot. Part of the design will be missing, with a blank crescent of metal at the edge. Double strikes will show ghost images, shifted slightly from the main design. And if you see anything unusual, anything that looks like a mistake, don't spend it, get it checked by a professional. Because the difference between an ordinary quarter and a $48,000 treasure can be as small as a few millimeters or a subtle shift in the strike. The story of the 2003 quarter is a reminder that treasures don't always come glittering with diamonds or flashing with gold. Sometimes, they come disguised as the most common things, a simple coin jingling unnoticed in your pocket. Every day, people unknowingly spend rare errors at gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines. Every day, tiny fortunes pass from hand to hand without a second thought, but not for those who know what to look for. So check your change. Examine those quarters, because somewhere out there, maybe even in your own home, a 2003 quarter worth $48,000 is waiting to be discovered. And when you find it, your life could change with just one small, lucky piece of silver in your hand. Would you like me to also create a special opening scene version, something dramatic like a person almost spending a $48,000 quarter at a coffee shop? It makes the script even more